Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm here with my colleagues Mike, Dagan, Shihao, and Albert. My name is Garrett, and we're going to be discussing with you the classroom utilization rates across UVM campus. The first visualization we'd like to share with you is a highlighted table. This table displays classrooms whose average current enrollment is less than 50% of its max enrollment. We identified these specific rooms as the most serious cases of underutilization that should be analyzed further. To avoid skewing the utilization rates, classes of 10 persons or less have been excluded. As a result, we have 33 observations below the 50% utilization threshold. The boxes are also color-coded so that the darker the blue, the higher utilization percent, closer to red, closer to 0. For your ease of use. This table exhibits underperforming rooms by semester, and if warranted, these rooms can be further analyzed using the following graph.
Alright, so after seeing and identifying the underused room, you might want to know more about these rooms, and the lower graph has the usage data for each room in each building, for each class in a given time. It has more detailed information and shows the usage rate in cluster. We also want to know the correlation between the max enrollment and the actual enrollment rate. However, the result shows that there isn't a strong correlation between these two. Okay, now let's take a closer look to our data. So as you can see, when I click to these rooms, it shows different type of class by the color, and also it shows the specific data for each room, the enrollment rate, the maximum enrollment, and the current enrollment. As you can see, the red line here is the fill capacity. Anything over it will be considered overcapacity, overused. And when we're doing the graph, the enrollment percentage was the highest. We reached the 600%, which is extremely outlier. And then we find out that's because the max enrollment for some class probably by mistake was set at 1, and then we get rid of all the outlier, so we get a look of the data like that.
This tree map visual shows the building and average utilization percentages, where the color shows the sum of max enrollment while the size shows the average of utilization percentages. It is filtered on building, which keeps a focus on the most utilized buildings. Over the years, it's possible to see which buildings have been more consistently under or overutilized, while also seeing which buildings have the highest student traffic. You have buildings like Lafayette, where you see a high amount of max enrollment over the years, but the utilization percentage isn't necessarily as high, while you also have buildings like Marsh Life Science, where over the years it fluctuates a lot, but always is kind of in the top percentage. And it's a good way to see which buildings are used more often and get used most effectively.
This visualization shows classroom utilization by course level. The orange bar represents the sum of maximum enrollment, and the blue bar represents the sum of current enrollment. The percentage of maximum enrollment is labeled on each bar. 0 level courses have the highest total enrollment and utilization. This is likely due to the fact that many of these courses are required or prerequisites to other courses. 100, 200, and 300 level courses have progressively lower total enrollment and utilizations. Students are not required to take as many higher level courses, so there may be less interest or demand for these courses compared to core requirements.
All right, so starting with this graph at the bottom, analyzing net vacancy between morning and afternoon classes by semester and by year, we can see that between 2013 and 2016, there's a clear difference between morning and afternoon enrollment rates. There tends to be more vacancy in the afternoon. So as a way of looking at this in more detail, classes were separated by subject in the graph above. And this is among the top 11 vacant subjects by year, semester, and time that the courses are offered. And as we go through the years and the classes, there's no clear trend among subject. It just seems to be a tendency overall that afternoon classes tend to be more empty. And this tended to be somewhat of a consistent finding we had with our data. There wasn't anything too specific. All we had to use were classroom classrooms, enrollment rates, and classes. So to conclude, overall, the information we were given and manipulated didn't really lead us to any clear trends among vacancies with classrooms among any of the variables we tried. We found that our data source was lacking some very important pieces of information like class size, transfer rates, whether students are coming in or leaving more often, and that would have been useful to see across semesters as well. And in addition to that, we wanted to see if there are certain times of the day where more required classes were offered and what the makeup of those classes were. Were there more freshmen? Were there more seniors? Because that all has an effect on class selection and how seats are left open.